call. Shout out to everybody in Vegas. Shout out to all my siblings in Vegas. Shout out to everybody that's handling business, doing what they need to do. Shout out to the homegirl, Shawnee, filling the building. Shout out to the homegirl, Erica, Florida, aka Florida is in the building. Shout out to my brother, David from No Compromise, Georgia in the building. And shout out to my brother, James Youngblood, Texas is in the building. Shout out to the homegirl, Melina, North Carolina, aka North Cackalack. I can tell you one thing about Georgia. Georgia's giving out some land. So I'm going to keep that a buck. Man, Georgia's giving out some real land. Man. But anyway, shout out to everybody. White crime is real, y'all. We about to get into it. Man. This is what I wanted to talk about today. Y'all know they always want to bring up Chicago, right? And the black on black crime and all this, but I don't never hear nobody talk. When it's white crime, it's blue collar crime. You know what I mean? And they had what is coming out of the news too with that shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. Like Tasha said, that's a Christian school, right? Okay, that's one too, and that was a girl. Now, what the fuck would make her, in my personal opinion, go to a school and just get to shooting people? What in the Manchurian Candidate type of shit is that? Like, who does that? Who just go to the school? Like, that's why the first half, the first podcast that I did, I just wanted to implement us really, really, really having different type of conversations with the youth today, and not just expecting them to know how to handle certain things. Now we have to look at it from a different perspective, and the perspective I'm looking at it is from what would make somebody do that, go into school and just shoot innocent people. Those are little children. So it's like, well, what would possess you to do that? Just like that dude that went in that theater and went to shooting, just like Sandy Hook, just like all these other instances. My question to everybody is, what would make somebody do something like that? Are they going to spend the mental health situation? Because when they commit the crimes, it's mental health. When we commit the crime, ain't nothing wrong with you, nigga. Ain't got no damn mental health. He was looking at a Louis Vuitton bag before he even started talking about, like, that's how they do us. But you just notice with the dominant society, a lot of the times, hey man, I gotta hold you guys accountable. Why would this be happening? And why is this happening on a major scale? These mass school shootings have been going on since Columbine. You know what I mean? Columbine. And it seems like it's gotten progressively worse. You know what I mean? Throughout the years. And my question is to the dominant society is, what is going on? Maybe too much violent TV, maybe too much having the phone, maybe too much being alone with your own thoughts and you can't be alone, maybe too much socialization of this is how you handle things that you don't like. I don't know that, but that will be my question. And you're like, Warren, why are you saying that? It's because I'm waiting to see if they're going to say she has a mental problem. What's going on? And why is it these major white crimes are always mass shootings? Why is that? I mean, mass shootings, like the shooting in Buffalo. They just went in there and got the shooting. Oh, I don't like them niggas, so I'm going to go in there and get the shooting. Like Dylan Roof. Oh, I don't like niggas, so I'm going to just go in Black church and get the shooting. I would dare somebody to try that in the Nation of Islam. Go into one of them mosques and see what the Nation of Islam will do to you. Thinking you going to run up in there and get the shooting. Shit. That's the safest place to go to church, if you ask me. The Nation of Islam. Because the FOI, they ain't playing none of that bullshit. So my question is, why is this? Why? Now we got to start questioning the parents. Now we questioning everything. Remember how they questioned that woman whose kid ended up falling into that not orangutan, but gorilla encapsulation at the zoo? Everybody started questioning her, asking who her baby fathers were, all this shit. So now we about to start questioning, because these people lost their lives behind this. Kids will be forever ever tormented by this situation. And we're not looking at it like that. I think a lot of people ain't, but I am. So if I was those parents, I'd sue that school too. I would sue that damn school. Somebody got to give me some paper. Well, anything happen to your kid don't matter. Emotional distress. Why is my kid going to a school where somebody could just come in there and get to shooting? And no diss to the brother. I was like, we practice these things. It shouldn't be a matter of practice. It should be a matter of, you need a key card to get in here. Right? These white crimes are crazy. Just like Luigi, whatever his last name is, the Mario Brothers. Like, he went in there and did what he did, and everybody, and you know what's so funny about these corporations? Didn't have the nerve to get mad at the American people because the American people have spoken and been like, well, he's a piece of shit, so oh well. The chickens come home to roost. And not just that, you have to understand, the American people that feel the way that they are feeling are the people that got to get up and go to work every day and hate doing it and have to pay for family members and make, like, come on, man, you know what type of stress that is? And you think people gonna be like, oh my God. No. You don't get a chance to go in somebody's middle school, which is a Christian school, and go in there and get to shooting because you're not feeling good that day, or you having a mental block? No. Somebody had to have seen these signs. And even if you didn't see these signs, where is the security in these schools, bro? And why is it y'all just want to put the metal detectors in the schools in Chicago? You better put the metal detectors in all the schools across the United States of America. Remember that shooting in was it Valdez, Texas? Or whatever, where motherfucker, wasn't it a Diamond Society that went in that school and got the shooting, and them cops didn't even want to go in there? This is happening all over the country to the point where people need to start questioning the government. Like, why is this not put in place? Where's the money going? Where are these politicians that are collecting checks and ain't doing shit? That should not be happening anymore. After Sandy Hook, it should have been a concerted effort across the United States of America Incorporated to be like, that ain't happening here. Oh, you want to come in? We got a camera at the door. We got to buzz you in. And if you already work for staff and you get to shooting, we're going to see you coming a mile away. We're going to see you coming a mile away, because how can you ensure that kids are going to be safe? That's why I keep saying this white crime is real. This ain't fake. See, they so busy want to lock up Jonathan Majors because he running away from a white woman. I mean, he was running away. That lady knew who to do that shit to. Let me tell you something about the dominant society, all these other racial groups of women that want to date brothers. Y'all know who to do that sucker shit to and who not to do it to. And that's a fact. Because that white woman would have not been chasing no nigga from the hood. Because she knows what would have happened. Y'all ever heard of Sugar Free? She knows. And most women know. They know who to play that shit with and who not to play that shit with. This man running away from white woman. I mean, literally just running away from her like that bitch was kryptonite. And he was Superman. And they still found him guilty in the court of public opinion. I'm like, he running away from the bitch and y'all still... Do y'all know what most niggas would have done? Man, they'd have done what Dana White did to his wife. They'd have slapped the shit out of her like he did his woman. And you notice they just breezed right over that like that didn't happen. That's why I'm like, I want to see if they're going to breeze all over this. They try to make this where it's normal. That's not normal to be going into somebody's Christian school that's a middle school and just get to shooting. That's not normal. So now I got to look at you like, well, what the hell in the Manchurian Candidate? What are you doing? And who have you been talking to? We got to start doing our own research. Something is not right, because that's way too many shootings in the last couple of years. That one in Texas, them cops didn't even go in there. They was like, fuck that, we ain't going in there. Shit, we just gonna have to wait it out. But what about the kids that's in there? Sure will. And what trips me out about school police and police period, but then y'all want to pull over a nigga because his car smelled like marijuana, or y'all want to pull over a nigga because he ain't got no tags and rough him up and shoot to kill him, but then y'all own people going in schools shooting them up and killing them. So I don't want to ever hear nothing about what about the black on black crime in Chicago, because the first thing I'm going to say is, what about the white on white crime in the United States of America Incorporated? It isn't just segregated to one state. This shit is happening all over the country. And I'm waiting to see when one person's gonna be like, hey man, enough is enough. Something ain't right. Ain't nobody that's 15, 16 gonna go to the shooting range, get a gun, wanna learn how to shoot, and then take that information and apply it to a school and get to doing it. So I'm very interested to see what the fuck is the explanation. And I don't want to hear nothing about no, oh, well, you know, we practice in that. Why do we even have to practice for that? Who's behind a lot of this shit? That's why when they talk about that Mario and Luigi who shot killed that man, stop. They trying to make that way. Let me tell you what I feel like they're trying to do. This is my personal opinion. They're trying to make the American people feel bad. You cannot, and see, that's what they don't like. You cannot make the American people feel bad when people are struggling, when interest rates are 7%, when groceries, one bag of groceries is fucking $200. So if you got multiple children, it's almost damn near impossible to feed your kids. So you think the American people are going to feel sad for any of these things that are taking place as far as that CEO in Mario and Luigi is, you know, I would say being considered as an egregious crime, which it is. He shouldn't have done that, but they're trying to make everybody feel bad. The only thing everybody should be feeling bad is that girl that's 15, a white woman, who went in there and shot up that school. I want to see if they're going to treat her as an adult, because I've seen so many black kids shoot somebody and they want to try them as an adult. They don't even try them as a juvenile. So since she's 15 or 16, I want to see if they're going to try her as an adult. See, don't give me that we do for one, we do for all. Right. No, that's not how it works. That's why you see me talking about it again, because I just want to get the message out like, hey man, we don't wish that up on nobody. We don't want nobody going up in no school and shooting and all that. Who does that? So now we got to talk to our kids and teach our kids something different, right? So after we talk to our kids and teach them something different, now we got to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, so now let's put our investigation discovery hat on, right? And see what the fuck is going on, because that's not normal. No kid go to the shooting range, get the shooting, and want to go up in the school. That's why I be looking like, you know, I've been to the shooting range, and when I see kids at the shooting range, what the fuck they doing at the shooting range? I'm not talking about black kids. When I see the dominant society, I be like, oh shit. I hope they ain't raising a Dylan Roof or a damn Menendez brothers in training, or a damn or was it two brothers that was in Columbine? And then their parents like, we didn't even know what he's doing. Then there wasn't another situation. I saw it on TV where this woman and this man was together, and they was they had a decent house, but they wasn't really on top of dealing with their son. These were dominant society. And their son literally got a gun and went somewhere and got to shooting. So what ended up happening was law enforcement came after the parents, because the parents was like kind of just not really there, not really influential in his life, and he was just kind of doing what the fuck he wanted to do. So they arrested the dad and the mother, then they started blaming each other. That's what they need to start doing now. I bet you, look, let me tell you something. That's the difference between black parents, white parents. What do black parents tell their kids before they go to school? You better not get in trouble, because if I hear something from that teacher, I'm beating your motherfucking ass. That's what you gonna get. And then after I'm done with you, I'm telling your daddy. And then he gonna stump your ears together. So what's embedded in your head? Yeah, man, I can't fuck up here because I ain't trying to get embarrassed. I ain't trying to get my ass whooped. And I'm definitely not trying to see my dad. Because they want to treat every black family like we ain't got no dad around. But you know that's particularly what happened, because isn't that what happens when black folks go in the grocery store? When you go in the grocery store with a black parent, how many black kids do you see acting the fool at the grocery store versus every other racial group, having temper tantrums and all that? Black folks don't play that. We've been there, man. Black parents been done super socked your soul out of your fucking chest. Black parents don't play no shit like that. Go to them grocery stores and go to them convenience stores and go to everywhere and see how them dominant society kids. Every time I go to a store, go anywhere, you see a kid running around acting a goddamn fool, not listening to his parents. Very disrespectful. right? But what if the tables were turned? And what if they submitted into Congress and passed a law that if your child goes to a school and harms any other human being, whether it's college, whether it's high school or middle school, we will not only lock him up, but the parents will be doing prison time. 10 to 15 years. I guarantee you most white parents will be just like black folk. You better shut the fuck up, sit down, listen to what the fucking teacher told you, or I'm gonna fuck you up. That's how they gonna be. We need to start holding these parents accountable. Just like that Virginia Tech shooting at Virginia Tech, that Asian motherfucker. That black professor told them, hey man, this man is crazy. If I'm not mistaken, either it was a black professor or white professor, but I know that professor warned the dean and said, hey man, this man is crazy. And y'all need to really get him some psych evaluation, because what he's writing is nuts. Then people looked at that professor and said, oh, that's just the nature of the beast and all this other shit. Then the man coming in fucking Virginia Tech shooting. Niggas is jumping out the damn window because this nigga just walking up and down the hallway just dumping on everybody. Why does it have to get that far? Just like with these CEOs that are being put in danger. What the American people need to start asking corporate America, why is it getting that bad? Why are y'all trying to make this guy who took matters into his own hands, Mario and Luigi, why is he the bad guy? Why isn't it, well, what did you do? I want y'all to go look up Elizabeth Warren and look up how she was going in on corporate greed, that man Brian Thompson's boss, and going in on him about all the profit they've made and how they've created problems, and within those problems they profited off those problems. As Neely Fuller Jr. says, if they're not arguing about replacing the system of racism and white supremacy, that's just two slave masters arguing about who's the bigger slave master. That's it. So when I see Elizabeth Warren going in on them, yeah, that sounds nice, clown. But what are you planning on doing about it? Because we can go off on them in the Senate all we want, just like David Fauci. Where the fuck is he? Because he should be going to prison for his crimes against humanity. Up there talking about he worried about his life. Well, what about all those other hundreds of thousands of millions of other families that was worried about their lives? And how you gonna put kids in a school where they're not protected? These are little kids. They don't know what's going on. Shame on you, United States of America. One way or another, y'all gonna see it the foundational Black American way. I was even watching, shout out to Paul Wall, because he was on the Breakfast Club and he was like, man, where I'm at is a lot of immigrants, but there's a lot of black people. He's like, no, I'm talking about like FBA black people. So foundational Black American ain't just a term on the lower level. A lot of people are taking heed to the foundational Black American term. So shout out to Tariq Nasheed for putting that out there. That segregates us from everyone else, and it delineates us from everybody else. And I love it. I love it. Man, people be hating on Tariq all day long. I remember I watched this thing. I was watching one of his podcasts, Tariq's podcast. I was listening. He mentioned this girl. Her name is Jade, but she goes by Lioness Crowd. I knew after a while, I was like, she's trying to seek attention, and she might be an op. Because I remember David probably don't even remember, because this was like 2-3 years ago. Me and David did a space on Twitter, and she came into the space and just got to rambling. But me and David was, David is super respectful. David is beyond respectful. But me, on the other hand, not so much. I'm not going to allow you to come in. I'm interviewing David, and this bitch come in the damn space making it about her. David, do you remember that? And her Twitter name is Lioness Crown. And I saw her in big spaces. And when she jumped in that space, I was like, and I didn't want to say nothing then, David, but I've watched her hop around other Twitter spaces, but the ones that she's in are the big spaces where there's a lot of FBA people talking. So I noticed that, and I noticed she was kind of cool with Tariq, but I still was like, If I'm not doing a space with David can tell you, James Youngblood can tell you, whoever's on Twitter that follow me, they can tell. I don't be doing no spaces with nobody else. That was meant to do that with David and James Youngblood. So I guess you would call me a loyalist, but that's okay. Because if I can't do it with David and James, I ain't gonna do that shit. Unless it was one of my sisters or something like that, yeah, we could do it, but nigga, I ain't finna be just doing no random spaces. And like that. And I remember me and David hosting it, and she hopped in there, because I think David, what do we have? David probably don't remember. This is a real story. We had like 20 to damn near 30 people in our space, which was a lot. Because I didn't even really get a chance to ask David a lot of questions, because, you know, when you have these spaces, people want to be heard, and everybody was trying to take over the interview. So I had to check a couple of people, because they would be like, well, David, let me ask you. I'm like, no, nigga, I'm asking the questions. This isn't your space. And she hopped in there, and she went on and on and on, and she was speaking some real shit. Matter of fact, David, she was from the East Coast. She's from New York, and she was on that Dr. Frances Cresswell scene and shit too, like David. She didn't know as much as David, but she tried to pretend. And this is part of the problem too. Black folk need to stop becoming so oppy. And when I mean oppy, like stop being the opposition for like, why do that? Like, you must have way too much time on your end, because I've never seen somebody, and I thought it too, because normally I would see her in those big spaces. You know what I mean? I would see her in the big spaces, like if two prominent people, you know, that got a lot of following on Twitter, and another person, you see her in those spaces, and she'll be kind of like, you know, saying her piece. And I used to always be like, oh, okay, that sister knows what's up. I ain't tripping off it. But then after a while, I was like, man, what if she just one of these oppie motherfuckers that's hopping around from space to space trying to gain fame and using David's talking points or using the next intellectual person's talking points? Because people be doing shit like that. That's why when I quote something and I got it from David, I'd be like, as David from No Compromise told me, as James Youngblood said, as Tasha said, as Shawnee said, as Erica has said. When Erica was like, when the dominant society is done with their tools, they break them. Erica was one of the first persons I heard say that. You know what I'm saying? And let me know that. And I was like, wow, that is different. I ain't never really heard that shit before. That's cold. So I would always give Erica her props or give Shawnee her props. I don't go around stealing people's quotes and then trying to make them my own. What kind of shit? The only thing that I'm going to take credit for is the Mammy music. I think that I'm the only one on social media that has played that Mammy music, and me and David and Tasha and Shawnee, everybody just laughed our ass off. That's when I used to do lives. And I think that's part of the reason why I can't go live no more. I think they took that shit from my ass. They're like, hell no, your ass is not going live doing all that sucker shit. Because I was playing the music for all kinds of people. Y'all remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you see a lot of that, you just be like, wow. You know, you don't trip, but you do. You just be like, wow. And we got to stop being so oppy and stop pocket watching everybody. Man, if somebody has a successful podcast, give props and get the fuck on. But maybe that's just me. I think we expound way too much energy trying to tear each other down than looking at the dominant society. That's why all these other racial groups get a kick out of us being the permanent underclass, as Dr. Claude Anderson predicted. That's why places like Georgia, where I wanted to move, I knew, no, black people are not the permanent underclass like that out there. There's too many black businesses. There's too many black successful people. There's too many black successful people that live in very nice houses. There's too many black successful real estate agents. Dave from No Compromise, tell me if I'm wrong. James Youngblood, Texas. You know how many successful black people are in Texas? Don't think I wasn't thinking about Texas either. There was a person that worked at the car plantation. Man, me and him talked for damn near 45 minutes. 45 minutes about why he felt like I should move to Texas. For real. He was at the car plantation. He lived in LA, then he moved to Vegas, and he saw Vegas wasn't, you know, he was the main one. Like, Vegas is out of line charging what they charge real estate. Like, he wrong. He's like, man, you know, in Texas, you can get a 5-bedroom, 3 to 4 bathrooms on an acre of land. He's like, brand new for 350 racks. I was like, for real? Like, yeah, man. Then you talk to Dave from No Compromise. He put me on the game. Then I started looking myself. Then that another Court Plantation person I work with, she was like, man, Georgia, man. Georgia be giving out land. So that's why I looked at places like that. Because those type of places, black people ain't the permanent underclass like a Vegas or California. In California, black folks are the permanent underclass. Black people don't own shit in California at all. It is ran by immigrants and the dominant society. You go to Las Vegas, it's becoming the same damn way. A motherfucker was like, man, I remember one time I was working at Doolittle Community Center and I was transferring to Veterans Memorial Leisure Center next to Palo Verde High School. And I remember a lot of black folk at Doolittle because Doolittle is West Side. They're like, man, you're going to be up there with all those white folk. I said, but I know what I'm getting. that's all I said. I was like, but I know what I'm getting. And then you go back to Doolittle, everybody done transferred and went to other rec centers and did their thing. Some people left, you know what I mean? I'm like, that doesn't intimidate me because the dominant society is the helm of racism, white supremacy. And I don't think people understand that. Like what Neely Fuller Jr. says, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. He's not lying because a lot of people feel like, oh, you're going to be around all the white folk. If you're around any other racial group, they are an extension of the dominant society. They are honorary white supremacists in training. That's why they like to treat us like we're the permanent underclass. That's why they're arrogant in certain states. The New Yorks, the Floridas, the Californias, the Arizonas, the Vegases, maybe. But when you get to the Montanas, and you get to the Idahos, and you get to the Cheyenne, and the North and South Dakotas, where one of my cousins live, and you start going to them states, and you start going to Iowa, and you start going to Nebraska. No, I'm not saying that there's no racism, because anti-black racism exists everywhere. But once you start going to those states, and Georgia and Tennessee, the difference between those dominant society people and the West Coast, California, and Vegas dominant society people, they are fake and phony like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and them. It's called the illusion of inclusion. They'll make you feel like you're included because they can do the Dougie and they can dance and twerk and they listen to hip hop and R&B and they like your favorite rapper. But let me tell you something. Ask them if we should give reparations and see what the fuck they say. So, and I'm not getting on my soapbox. I'm just telling you, the little bit of traveling that I've done, when you go to these other states, these dominant society people are confident. They're not the weak, immature, insecure dominant society people that you're used to dealing with in California or Vegas, where they act like they cool with you, but they nigga the whole time and calling you ghetto. When you go to the South, especially places like Georgia and Texas, them good old boys, them dominant society white people, if they don't like this, they gonna tell you. We don't deal with colors around here. And they gonna fucking tell you to your face. And that's what I've been saying forever. A lot of black folk on the West Coast, they don't want to deal with that. They like the blue pill smoothie. They don't want the red pill. They don't want the red pill. They just don't. So that's why I'm looking like, now it's time to hold them accountable. Why is this white girl going up in a school shooting? Why is it damn near the majority of these school shootings are the dominant society? Why is that? Why are we not questioning that? They wasn't talking about mental health when those kids shot up Columbine. So I wonder what they're going to talk about now. And I'm very interested of where this girl's parents. And y'all didn't see this coming? You didn't have a conversation with your daughter and like, hey, you know, there's a big time responsibility and you're not checking to make sure she's not taking no guns. Every day you should be checking. Especially if you're not affluential in that kid's life. Like I'm saying, I remember on Investigation Discovery, it was a white kid who was driving drunk and ended up killing somebody. Do you not know his lawyer's defense was he's too affluent? Meaning he's got too much money and he just doesn't know the rules. That's what his defense was. He's too affluent, Your Honor. This is the bullshit that they come up with. Just like they're trying to make the American people feel bad because that CEO, what happened to that CEO? But my thing is, when you're at a helm of any type of Fortune 500 company and you have not done right by the people, and that takes place, we need to question the whole system. Who's in charge? What are you doing? Who's in the leadership meetings? What are you doing? When people like such as Foundational Black Americans are going to human resources, are you guys really investigating it? Or is it another tale of white people investigating white people and swinging it, just sweeping it under the rug? Are you one of those type of companies that you take claims very seriously when it's against humanity? Like, hey, y'all are doing people out of line. Oh, okay, well then we're going to really look into it and we're going to have a roundtable and we're going to really discuss it. And I want people to ask real questions. No, you're going to have a speech that you done rehearsed 1,000 times. You're going to silence the people and make them feel like, how dare nobody feel bad that what happened to that CEO. Only thing I feel bad about is nothing. Warren, why would you say that? The reason why I don't feel bad about the chickens coming home to roost and all that is because we need to understand when you are in the corporate structure, which I call the corporate plantation, and you're at the helm of that company and you are immoral to the point of no return, I don't feel bad for nobody. I remember in 2008, I'm still on my soapbox. I remember in 2008, Obama wanted to save the banks, not the American people, but the banks. Do y'all know that those banker CEOs was walking away with 90 million, 100 million, 50 million? That was in their contracts. And the government didn't do anything about it and just kept letting them do it. And then here comes Donald Trump, and now everybody want to tell us, oh, he's a criminal and he's racist. Well, what type of racism was that when Obama aided and abetted those bankers? What was that? What was that when he signed into law the DACA program so more immigrants could come over here? That's crimes against the United States of America Incorporated, because you are making foundational Black American people be the permanent underclass, as Dr. Clyde Anderson speaks on. I mean, y'all notice I'm only gonna quote shit that I know. If I don't know, I ain't gonna say shit about it. And after reading Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth and the Black History Reader, that was all I needed to read. So we have to have a different understanding and start holding people accountable. Like, okay, well, where are the parents at? And why was she able to do that? And where's the government at putting safety measures in place? Not reactionary things in place, but offensive things in place. Soon as there's a gunshot, shut everything down. There should be cameras every damn where. Shut it down. You should have school police that are armed and ready to throw them things down if somebody coming in and harm them children. Those are children. That's why I be irritated, man. Like, y'all disgust me sometimes, man. Why? And where are the parents at? Why is that girl's parent, you taking her to the shooting range and she just go to school and get to shooting? Ain't nobody saying nothing. Come on, we got to do better, folks. We just have to do better. Remember, hold them accountable. Don't let them. That's why they mad that Mario and Luigi, all them people want to fund his defense. They mad at they mad at. That's what you get. This is what the American people are. This is what happens when you you raise the interest rates to all damn hell. Then you raise the grocery prices to all damn hell. And then you let all these illegal immigrants come over here. What the fuck you think? You think the American people gonna be like, oh my God, that's so sad what Mario and Luigi did to that man? No, people gonna be like, oh well. Oh well. And you can't come back around and be like, oh, it's so much misinformation. Misinformation is meant to be looked up and researched. So if somebody's putting out misinformation about any CEO or any corporate business, look it up. And just let me give you a reminder, and y'all can vet me out if I'm not speaking the real. Any Fortune 500 corporate plantation that is publicly traded, all the information is public knowledge. It has to be disclosed because they are a publicly traded company. Remember that. The Banks of Americas, the Wells Fargos, any publicly traded company, when you hear some shit like what happened to this here, look into those companies. They're publicly traded, so all the information has to be disclosed. And anyone who owes stock in that company, per the law of the United States of America Incorporated, they have to disclose a lot of stuff. So the things that were going on behind the scenes with these corporate plantations that they're not disclosing, sounds like Martha Stewart to me, right? Didn't they make Martha Stewart go to prison for a year? And she the cookbook woman. So I'm willing to bet that in this situation, there's going to be so many distractions, and they want everybody to be mad at Mario and Luigi, but they don't want nobody to be mad at that system. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.